This week's video is sponsored in part by Vendu. Come thrift with me in Hawaii. I am in Honolulu and I'm heading to the Goodwill. Let's see what we find. It's a pretty windy day on the island. Perfect time to go thrift shopping. But if you ask me, it's always a perfect time to go thrift shopping. Right away, this looks like a really tidy Goodwill. I am really excited to see what I find. Initially, I was going to hit up the hard goods, but I got distracted by the handbags. You guys know I love handbags. I liked this leather bag, but I didn't really think it was worthy of packing all the way home. This bag I kind of thought was a Polo Ralph Lauren, but it ended up being an off-brand. There were so many like straw and beach bags. So if you ever get to Hawaii and forget your bag, just go to the Goodwill and I'm sure you'll find just what you need. I thought this looked like designer, but it was just a dupe. There was this Kate Spade handbag, but I just haven't had a whole ton of luck with kind of basic Kate Spade bags. Of course, I had to hit up the belts. I don't think that I actually picked up anything here. I am trying to be more particular with what I buy in the belt section as my belt sales have just slowed a little bit. It was really organized in this Goodwill, and especially the shoe section looked so nice. I really liked these raku pieces of pottery, and had I been home I probably would have picked these up. I did notice a chip on this one, but I loved the colors, so I might have picked it up anyways. These were really well done and the glaze was beautiful. And then as you can see, there was so much new stuff in the home decor, and it wasn't only on this aisle, it was aisle after aisle of new stuff. I was kind of surprised at how much was there. I'm not really sure what the deal was. I'm always tempted by seashells, but I've already got 5 or 6 at my shop, so I'm not taking this home. I do see that some of them have good comps on eBay, so that's why I'm always tempted by them. I headed over to the shoes, and it looked like they had just restocked them or organized them or something, because they were set up really nicely and there was quite a few pairs of good quality shoes. But as you'll see in a minute here, the shoes are priced at $12.99 a piece. So I don't know, that was a little bit high for me. I really wish I would have picked up these pink Zara shoes. I thought those were so cute. They would have been really fun. These were nice Dolce Vita kind of slip-ons. These were Danceco's, but they looked a little dated to me, so I decided to pass. Maybe I should have picked those up. I've had pretty good luck with the sandal style of Danceco's. Now these I really wish I would have picked up. These are Eileen Fisher. There were 2 pairs. They were in great condition. But actually at this point, I didn't know what the shoe pricing was. And then when I saw it was $12.99, I decided, to be particular. I did pick up these, Papiello by Birkenstock. Those were a great score. I'm really glad that I got those. They had a ton of dresses at this location, and they had all of the maxi dresses sorted together. So I decided to take a look. As you can see, I had already pulled out a few pieces. I thought this dress was absolutely stunning, but I'd never heard of the brand. And when I looked up comps, they were kind of so-so. Plus it was a wedding dress. I just didn't know if I really wanted to mess with a wedding dress. Then I found this Tadashi vintage formal gown. I've had pretty good luck with this brand in the past, and this was new with tags. I just couldn't resist this vintage dynasty look. Like I said, it was maxi and it had this embellishment on the front, a chiffon. Hopefully I do well with that. Here was another one that was kind of similar, but it wasn't as good of a brand, so I decided to leave that behind. Plus I only want so many formal gowns. I was just about to leave when I spotted this new rack, and I thought, I'll take a minute and look through it. And boy, oh boy, am I glad I did. Do you guys see this? Do you see what this is? Alexander McQueen at the Goodwill. I'm dead. I cannot believe it. Looks like some guy donated all of his designer shirts and some of his pants. Really amazing stuff. These shirts retail from like $2 $250 to $500. Dries Van Noten, do you guys know how expensive that is? I cannot even believe it. I didn't take all of this home. This is just when I was going through piece by piece. And luckily, I pulled some stuff off this. Roberta Cavalli. Can you guys believe that? Luckily, I pulled stuff off of this before the Goodwill employee came over and told me that I can't be looking at this rack. There was a sign right next to me that I didn't see, but I'm just so glad that I stopped at this rack. It made the whole trip worth it. More John Barbados. I did take some of that home. I'm back from my trip and I'm really excited to share my haul with you. I found some amazing things, but first I wanted to take a minute to thank today's video sponsor, Vendoo. If you're not familiar with Vendoo, they are a cross-listing platform that also offers tools to help streamline and scale your reselling business. The reason I'm so excited to work with them is if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know that I have been talking about cross-listing my items to eBay and other platforms. I've had some time to try out the different tools that they offer, and the only thing that I would change is that I would have done it sooner. Having these tools to make cross-listing easier has just kind of given me the boost to get going on cross-listing and overcome my fears. Just like when I wanted to start my YouTube channel, I thought about it for probably 2 years. And then one day I finally just said, I'm just going to sit down and film a video, and the rest is history. It's been 3 years that I've had my YouTube channel. Now I'm working with Vendoo. And my point here is that if you don't start somewhere, even if you have fears about change or mistakes, you'll never start. So get started today by clicking the link in my description box. It'll save you 25% off your first month. Vendoo offers a variety of packages for all different sizes of resellers. So even if you are a hobby seller or doing this as a side hustle, they have a smaller plan for you that's a little bit more affordable. Like I said, you can get 25% off your first month. And if you like Vendoo, which I'm sure you will, I would really recommend that you try out one of their annual plans. The reason I recommend this is that the annual plans come with all of the extra add-on tools for a more affordable price. And I have found that I really want to use all of those extra tools. In particular, the auto sales detect. And the reason for that is that I am not a very organized person, and that was one of my fears with cross-listing to multiple platforms, is that I wouldn't be able to keep track of what listing I had listed where, and when it sold, I'd have to search through things to delete from all of the various platforms. With this tool on Vendoo, they automatically detect when your item sells, and they automatically delist it from those other platforms. So don't wait, click the link today, and I'm sure you won't regret it. Thanks again to Vendoo for sponsoring today's video. Now on to my really exciting haul. So the first item, something that was interesting about that Goodwill is that things weren't tagged. It was just a one price for most items. So I wasn't exactly clear on the pricing for everything until I got to the register. So like, for example, these shoes, these wedges, they are the Papiello, they're a Birkenstock brand. So the shoes were marked $12.99 a piece, I think. And then when I got to the register, she only charged me $3.99 for these, as she put them as slippers. So I kind of am wishing that I would have picked up those Eileen Fisher sandals too. The reason that I didn't is because I thought they were more expensive. And it's been almost a month since we took this trip, so I'm realizing now that I don't remember exactly the prices of everything, but I'll give you an estimate, and I did show the prices in the Thrift with me. So as I was getting ready to leave, because I wasn't finding anything really good, I saw what looked like a new rack. And it had a bunch of men's stuff, and I thought, okay, well, before I give up and leave, I'm going to take a look at that. And boy, am I glad that I did, because some guy donated his designer clothes, and I got some real goodies. So the first item is this men's kind of shirt. It kind of feels like a cotton, and it's ribbed, and it is by John Varvatos. Most of these are men's size medium, and John Varvatos brand is very expensive retail. I wouldn't be surprised if this retailed in the $200 range. If you're interested in any of these items, I will work to get them listed, but if there's something in particular, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below and I will prioritize getting it listed. I suspect that most of the tops will be listed in the $40 to $60 range, with the exception of this one, which is the really exciting one. This is Alexander McQueen, you guys. Can you see that? I cannot believe that I thrifted this brand. It is a pretty uncommon designer brand. This is his harness shirt. So you see it has these harnesses kind of detail on the side. Otherwise, it's just kind of a simple polo kind of style shirt. But I'm assuming this is also a men's size medium. So excited to find this brand. I can check that off of my bucket list. I never thought that I would find that because it's such an unusual brand. And in my area, I really don't typically see a lot of designer pieces. The next item is just this pair of men's slacks, and they looks like this gentleman was more on the short side, but these are by Porsche Design, so I thought that would be a good brand. They are some sort of maybe European size 50, but I would again assume that these, you know, are like maybe a men's size 30 or something on the smaller side. Again, we'll have to look up comps, but I would guess, you know, in that, depending on what it is, in the $40 to $80 or $100 range. The next item I was pretty excited about. It's just another men's polo. It is by another designer brand that you may not be familiar with, Dries Van Noten. Very expensive retail. This does have some pulled loose stitches on the front there. So this probably won't go for as much, but I'm hoping when I list all of these, this is marked as a men's size small, but they're all on the rack together. So I am certain that these all came from the same guy. I think this is actually a medium. It looks like it says medium on there, but I'm hoping that when I list these, one gentleman comes in and wants to buy all of them. This is another brand. This is a brand I had not heard of. Another just kind of men's polo. It has a really nice feel to the knit. And I had not heard of this. The brand is Lardini. But I did at one point look this up, and it also had a high retail value. So these aren't, you know, your traditionally exciting pieces, women's pieces, but to come upon this much designer names at the Goodwill is just insane to me. This next one is another exciting brand name that you guys will be familiar with. And this kind of has like a snake print detail on it, and it is Roberto Cavalli. Very, very exciting. This feels probably like a merino wool. Very, very fine. And although these brands, you know, are super expensive retail, I don't know how they will fare on the resale market. I did find when I went to Palm Desert on a girls trip last year, I did find a John Varvatos leather jacket, and I think I ended up selling that around $200. So this is another John Varvatos piece, and it's more of like a lightweight kind of zip up sweatshirt jacket. So this I might list a little bit higher. Again, I'll look at comps, but the prices were right for these. Oh, and I forgot to mention, so I had never been to that Goodwill, of course, and I saw this new rack and I just made a beeline for it. And right next to the rack was a sign that said, "Do not touch the items on this rack. They haven't been processed yet." And I didn't see that sign. But thank goodness I had already gone through it and taken off the things that I wanted. And the person, the employee, was nice enough not to take them back, because when I was up there, she came up to me and said, "Oh, you're not supposed to go through these things on this rack." And she pointed at the sign, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that," even though it was right there. But thank goodness she didn't like make me give them back to her or anything. I don't know exactly why they do that, because they were all tagged with the size and she was just going to put them out on the floor. So I don't know if it just gets in their way of getting things put out or what the reasoning is. If you know, let me know in the comments why they do that. This next item I suspect was also from the same gentleman, but it's a vintage item. And I just thought it was a cool piece, real 70s vibes. I liked the kind of starburst detail and then that pointed collar. And it is by Paul Howard. I did look up this brand and it looked like it was somewhat collectible. And I just thought it was a cool piece. Again, hoping that some guy will come in and make a bundle and buy all of this. And then women's item that I got was this vintage kind of special occasion dress. Definitely like dynasty vibes, maybe 1980s or 1990s. It is by Tadashi, which can be a collectible brand, and this was new with tags. As you can see, it does have some fading on the inside because it sat in someone's closet. It is a longer length with a kind of chiffon. It's kind of coming up more blue on camera, but it's like a royal purple, and it has these rhinestones. I just thought it was a fun piece, and at the time I found this and I had those shoes, but I didn't have anything else in my cart, and I really wanted to get something. But I just liked this. I have had decent luck in the past selling this brand, so I will hope I'll probably list this around $99, maybe $129, and hope to land between $80 and $100 on it. But it's a really pretty piece. It is marked size 6, but sometimes vintage sizing is a little different, and I do see some stitches in here, so I don't know if it was possibly altered or not, but I will definitely include all of the measurements. And just a fun retro piece. So I am very, very excited to have found Alexander McQueen. Like I said, I never thought that I would find something like that. And I do suspect that, you know, I should be able to profit at least $300 on these items, maybe $200 profit. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm super excited. And after this, I will add some clips from our vacation. We had an absolutely relaxing, wonderful time. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next week. Bye-bye.
what I was saying.